Alright, we're going to be doing something different today. Now, this is my top 15 list of Halo jumping competitors from the Xbox 360 era, since like 2007 to 2014. So sorry, dude, it's my art, this doesn't include you, and sorry if, Strafe, if you're not on this list. Smokey, if you're watching this right now, you're on this list. It's just a matter of how many times you cleared stage 1, and how many times you made it to the 3rd stage, how many times you've made it to the final stage. And I'm going to be ranking all the competitors' stats, and I will be analyzing how far they went on other courses throughout the Xbox 360 era of each course. And no, this does include Spartan Warrior as well, and all the mainline jumping courses. So first we're going to be starting off with Uvgoost. Now, Uvgoost was the first competitor to beat stage 1 2 times in a row on Ninja Warrior of Halo. Tournament 1 was the first ever tournament, but Tournament 2 was the first official Ninja Warrior of Halo tournament on Halo Reach, and he made it to stage 2 both times, and he marks the only competitor to have a 100% clear rate on stage 1 on the Halo 3 course. And on Halo Reach, he surprised everyone too by getting to stage 2 again and making it to the super drop, or whatever it's called. Please tell me in the comments below. But Uvgoost's performances since his first 2 appearances clearing stage 1, they've all been a downward spiral, as he failed a rolling ball in Tournament 3, and then didn't return until Tournament 12 on Halo 4, where he go out even on, I don't know which obstacle he went out on. Then he returned for Tournament 13, and then took 2 tournaments off, and then didn't compete again until Tournament 16, the final Xbox 360 tournament. But he's only competed on 1 course. It would have been spectacular if he cleared stage 1 on other courses, but he's only competed on Hunters, so he racks off at number 15. EpiK LandLord. Seriously, why did I put this guy on? Well, for 2 simple reasons. 1, because he's only competed on Hunters, and 2nd, he's only been an all-star for 1 tournament, and he's only competed 3 times, which is so bad. And he has the lowest amount of appearances by any all-star in the history of Ninja Warrior of Halo. He was one of the first 3 all-stars introduced in Ninja Warrior of Halo history. He first competed in Tournament 2, the first Halo Reach tournament, and the first official Ninja Warrior of Halo tournament. And right off the bat, he showed his skills, as he cleared stage 1 and made it to stage 2, but failed the vehicle ramps. He then returned in Tournament 3 and made it to stage 3 alongside USS Defiant 1, when ranking in 2nd place. But however, in Tournament 4, everything changed. In his first tournament as an all-star, he was so close to clearing stage 1, and he failed the mountain climb when the buzzer was sounding, and he hasn't competed since. But he has good forge maps on Halo Reach, but ever since that Tournament 4 failure, I am yet to see EpiK LandLord appear in any tournament since. He missed all the Halo 4 and Master Chief Collection and all Halo 5, and now the beginning of Halo Infinite. But it's likely we can see EpiK LandLord return in a future Halo jumping tournament. Soul Reaper 1025. Now, Soul Reaper, he's been competing on Halo jumping since the days of Spartan Warrior. He's an OG in Halo jumping. But, however, his biggest successes come on Hana's course, clearing stage 1 4 times on that course and reaching stage 3 once for his first and only time in Tournament 12. But the thing is, Soul Reaper also competed on Halo Ninja Warrior. He's competed 10 times on that course. And he beat Stage 1 once on that course in Tournament 7. Is that Tournament 7? Yeah. But then he made very spread out appearances on Halo Ninja Warrior. And then since Tournament 20, he has competed in every tournament since on Halo Ninja Warrior. But I did consider putting his Ninja Warrior of Halo appearances in, as in his first 5 appearances, he'd never beaten Stage 1, including failing the jump hang 3 times in a row. The jump hang is a nemesis for Soul. But when in Tournament 9, in the final Halo Reach tournament, he made sure that all those failures were behind him, as he cleared Stage 1 for the first time ever and made history as the first ever competitor in all of Halo to complete Stage 1 as an elite. But since then, Soul has only completed Stage 1 3 times on the course afterwards. One of those appearances getting to Stage 3, and in Tournament 16, he announced he wouldn't really be competing again, but then returned in Tournament 20, because, why not? So Soul racks off at number 13. Now we have EExpose, or Expose as we like to call him. But Expose is one of the top competitors on Halo Ninja Warrior. He made it to Stage 3 twice on that course, and made it to the Crazy Cliffhanger and the Curtain Cling. But it proves that EExpose has not really done well on the course since the days of Halo 4, as since Tournament 11, he has not been able to get back to the second stage in Halo Ninja Warrior, as he has failed Stage 1 his last 7 appearances in a row, and which is easily a drought. And but back in the early days, Expose was very talented, making it to Stage 2 on all of his first 3 appearances, which is tied with Petrilofam 4. Now, from tournaments 20 through to 22. But Expose also had some struggles on Stage 1 in Tournament 7 and 8, which proved to be his only failures on Halo in his first 8 appearances, because he beat Stage 1 6 times afterwards. And he also had 4 he followed by his 6 first stage clears with 4 Stage 2 failures. Now at the time, this was the most amount of second stage failures, tied with Dom, with XDomdaBomX, which we'll be talking about later. But Expose, he hasn't really been competing on Halo jumping since then. He's only made a few appearances on Halo 5, and he has competed in Spartan Sasuke 23 on Halo Infinite, so it seems like he wants to get back into the Halo jumping community, and it proves that he can still make it back to Stage 2, Stage 3s again. So, let's see if he can finally do it. Oh my god. I'm so weird that I put this guy on the list. This is USS Defiant 1. And you guys may think, oh, he's an all-star of Ninja Warrior of Halo. He's an Xbox 360 all-star. He's a former all-star. Well, I have to put him very low because he's only competed 7 times in the 22 tournaments of Ninja Warrior of Halo. And second of all, why on earth did he stop competing? I have to explain he competed in the first Halo Reach tournament, Tournament 2, like many others that tournament. And he made it to Stage 3 by only his 2nd appearance. And overall, he's completed Stage 1 5 tournaments in a row, which at the time, in Tournament 12, it was beaten by Drago as Sick, and later, in Tournament 13, by Elite MKB. But the biggest statistic of Defiant is that he made it to the... But the famous thing about Defiant is that he made it to the final stage in Tournament 5, and alongside Drago, and he was so close and got to the final stage made it onto the top without even achieving total victory, which we would go on another 8 tournaments without a final stage, Defiant retired, and many of the new competitors started to rise. But Defiant was the early pace setter. He earned the fastest time on stage 1 3 tournaments in a row, from tournaments 3 to 5, which would be tied with DHG Fireball by beating stage 1 2 times in a row after USS Defiant 1 did in tournament 5. So Defiant overall, however, in tournament, what tournament was it again? Oh yeah, it was tournament 8. Tournament 8, where he failed stage 1 for the first time in his career. And then he returned for the first Halo 4 tournament and failed stage 1 again. And since then, we've not seen Defiant compete on any course. But his 5 stage 1 clears in a row set the pace for many competitors to clear stage 1 multiple times, including competitors like SMOKEY as well, and also Puma. But despite his 5 stage 1 clears and his 3 fastest times on stage 1, he also has the record for being the first competitor to time out on the vehicle ramps. As you can see, I looked through. But Defiant is very low because he doesn't often compete anymore, and it would have been good if we saw him on Halo 5. Even on Halo Infinite, maybe he'll return one day. Maybe he'll return. Next up, we have a competitor who's gone through so many different personas in the times that he has competed on these courses. Dark is Sick, aka a Medpack, aka I Game Types, aka Could Be Better. Sorry, with the B. Or Phil, as we like to call him. But Phil is one of the dominant competitors on some of the courses, like Aborigines Warrior, but that was before. That was after the Xbox 360. I'm talking about his early career. He competed on Spartan Warrior like many other competitors did. And he had a different gamer tag. I don't know what he was. He first competed as Dark is Sick and cleared stage 1 on his debut. He hasn't missed a tournament since tournament 4 on Ninja Warrior of Halo. And not to say that he hasn't competed on other courses, he has competed on Halo Ninja Warrior as well. Like, he's even been to stage 3, he's even cleared stage 1 on all of his first 7 appearances, and made it to stage 3 5 times. He was given the All-Star rank due to his amazing start to his career. But it felt like ever since tournament 9, Phil has been unable to reach stage 2, as he's failed stage 1 11 consecutive times in a row, which is the most by a competitor who has cleared stage 1 in the past, and the most consecutive failures by anyone on stage 1. And now it's been broken by Sakeshi. But back in the day, Phil was very consistent and made it to stage 3 on Hunter's course before. So he ranks in at number 10. Now we go to Sidexshowxfreak. Now he was one of the original competitors as well, making 11 appearances in the first 16 tournaments. Of course, announcing his retirement in the 16th tournament on the final Xbox 360 tournament of Ninja Warrior of Halo. He's only competed once on Halo Ninja Warrior and cleared stage 1. But back in Ninja Warrior of Halo, he was very consistent, as he's only failed stage 1 3 times on that course. 2 of those coming in the final 2 Halo Reach tournaments. And in Halo 4 he made a comeback, as he cleared stage 1 5 times in a row from tournaments 10 to 16, giving him a 100% success rate on stage 1 on the Halo 4 course. Drago and only he and Drago is sick are the only two competitors with a 100% success rate on the Halo 4 course. I may be right. Tell me in the comments if I'm right or not. But although stage 2 has given him so much problems, as he's only defeated it twice in tournament 14, in tournament 13, and in tournament what tournament was it again? Yeah, tournament 15. But Sidexshowxfreak doesn't often compete that much on the course, and it shows in his appearances. Maybe he puts in lots of practice, but he retired in tournament 16, and he managed to fail the metal spin. So number 9. Next up we have Elite MKB. The pro racer is the top competitors on Ninja Warrior of Halo, having made 18 appearances, and in fact he's actually cleared stage 1 5 tournaments in a row, from tournaments 9 through the 13. Like Drago and Defiant, he holds many records. But despite that, Elite has had a couple of ups and downs throughout his career. But however, Elite MKB has tied with the amount of clears on stage 1, which is set by Ree and Drago. Wait, what? No, it's Drago and SMOKEY that hold the records of 11 stage 1 clears. But although Elite has stage 1 clears, he also has a couple of stage 1 failures. That includes 6 stage 1 failures, and since tournament 15, he has not been able to get to stage 3. As before that, he had only failed stage 3 once, which was in tournament 11. But however, his career on the Xbox One has not been up to date. So, yeah, whatever. Next up, we have the King of the Derps, the King of the Wallies, XDomdaBomX, one of the oldest competitors on Ninja Warrior of Halo, who competed in Tournament 3, and he cheated on the rolling ball and ran on the track without using the rolling ball. And it looked like that was it for Dom. Like he never had a hope of ever succeeding on the course. But out of nowhere, Dom decided to be good. But although I did consider putting his tournament 6 performance, because that was the first time he ever completed stage 1, and in fact he even got to stage 3. But Dom would initially struggle on his next 4 consecutive appearances, failing the warp tour on 3 of those times. So Dom came out of nowhere to shock us all with 4 straight stage 1 clears, and all 4 times getting to stage 3, which is the second best record out of anyone in Ninja Warrior of Halo history. And he was promoted to All-Star, and since he's only failed stage 1 once, which was in tournament 15, where he ran out of time for mucking around too much. And in tournament 16, he announced his retirement on his 14th run on the course. And sadly, he went out on the cliffhanger. Sadly, he hasn't competed on Ninja Warrior of Halo in 8 years. He took an 8-year hiatus of Halo jumping, although he has competed only once on Halo 5 in Halo Ninja Warrior Tournament 24. I do consider his early days being his biggest point in the Halo jumping community. Next up, we have Uvgoost, the godfather of Halo jumping, who has been around since the days of Spartan Warrior on Halo 3, back in 2009. But, however, Uvgoost has had a few successes. He was the first competitor ever to reach the final stage, to reach the third stage on Spartan Warrior. He and Re95 were the only two competitors to do so. He was successful, so successful on Spartan Warrior. He was the face of it. And he made it to the third stage more times than any other competitor on Spartan Warrior. On Ninja Warrior of Halo, he put his skills and he continued to grow, making it to the third stage multiple times as well. Although announced his temporary retirement from Halo jumping in Tournament 17 on the beginning of MCC, he then returned like in Tournament 19. It was a big surprise to see him return. I didn't realize that. But he actually trained some Halo jumpers as well. And he's also regarded as the Spartan Sasuke Grand Champion, as we'll get to later. But UmpDoubleUmp's 360 career is one of his lowest points, because his Xbox One career is one of his biggest points. So, let's go. Next up, we have Buddy Jumps. Buddy Jumps is the Halo Ninja Warrior Grand Champion, achieving total victory in its 7th tournament. Buddy Jumps has competed 11 times on Halo Ninja Warrior, clearing stage 1 7 times and making it to the third stage on 5 of those occasions. His biggest successes came in Halo Ninja Warrior, and although he has only competed 3 times on Ninja Warrior of Halo, he is also a great Xbox 360 competitor, as he made it to stage 3 by only his first appearance on Halo Ninja Warrior, making it to the spider flip, and then out of nowhere in Tournament 7 got total victory, whilst Drago did not. He shocked everyone at the time, and at the time this was the most unexpected total victories in Halo jumping history. But although he has had a few shocking failures every now and then, either he'd clear stage 1, or either he'd fail stage 1, either he'd get to the final stage, he'd fail stage 1 the next tournament, he'd get to the final stage of the next tournament, he'd then fail stage 2. So he's a kind of competitor who he doesn't really compete much often anymore, like Drago does, but he's just one of those competitors who'd come into a tournament, you expect him to reach the final stage at least, and then he does exactly that. But he'll always have his place as a grand champion. You can never take that off him. Now, Hunter Unit 751. I have this cool Halo Ninja Warrior 1 photo of him, because that's the only photo I could find. So, this photo, Hunter Unit 751, is one of the best competitors in Halo Ninja Warrior history, with the 19th clear streak on Halo Ninja Warrior. But he was also very consistent on Halo 4, as he cleared stage 1 12 times in a row in all of the Xbox 360 tournaments, and made it to stage 3 on 9 of those times. And he once made it to the final stage in Tournament 6, along with Isla Black Ops. But the biggest problem with Hunter is that he hasn't really gotten a total victory. Because back then, when he competed on old courses on Reach, he didn't do good at all. Because he wanted to become a runner instead of just a host, because he would have been stuck being a host for so long, and he didn't know what to do with himself. So Hunter goes in at number 4. Now we have the big guns right here. Number 3 is Drago is Sick, or as he's now known as Drago is Back. Drago is one of the longest competitors in Halo jumping history, competing since Spartan Warrior on Halo 3, and in fact, Drago has been one of the most consistent competitors in the Halo Reach and the Halo 4 era of jumping. Drago was a top competitor already from the start, as he made it to the final stage on Ninja Warrior of Halo Tournament 5 alongside Defiance. And although he has had a few up and down tournaments, including failing stage 1 like twice in his first 2 appearances, Drago also has been competing on Halo Ninja Warrior as well, as he failed stage 4 in Tournament 7. Like, Buddy Jumps achieved total victory, but Drago did not. It was very stupid that Drago didn't achieve total victory, and that was like the decline of Drago and the Halo 4 contestants' consistency. It all started when he failed stage 1. No. He failed stage 4 in Halo Ninja Warrior Tournament 7. And his best performance on Halo Ninja Warrior was Tournament 5. But Drago was consistent on Halo 4, but you cannot take that away from him. He doesn't often compete as well, because back in those days that was just his prime. Like, you can't take that away from him, because although he doesn't compete much, I can look back on his runs. But although Drago has never achieved total victory, he's just one of those competitors who's just there from the beginning, and then at the end he's just gone. He can't take it anymore. No, like, know what? I'm done. I quit. I can't be here anymore. And that's exactly what he did in Tournament 16 of Ninja Warrior of Halo, where he failed the body prop for the second time in 3 tournaments. But he's only passed the second obstacle on stage 3 once on Halo 4, and that was in Tournament 11, where he finished in first place for the second time in a row. Drago was given the number 100 in Tournament 12, which was the first time since Tournament 2 that Ree had not been the final runner. So Drago was number 100. He failed stage 2 on the balance tank. He tried to go for the SMOKEY technique, but it failed him. And it hasn't been the same since. Because since then, nowadays, Drago's just like doesn't put practice in. He still often competes on Halo jumping. He has competed in Spartan Sasuke. He has competed in Spartan Sasuke 23 on the Halo Infinite. We could finally see him get to stage 2 again and stage 3. And he hasn't completed a stage 1 on any jumping course since the Xbox 360 era. It's just that all his best days are behind him. The next man is all-star and the host of Halo Ninja Warrior, SMOKEY MASSACRE. SMOKEY MASSACRE is one of the best competitors ever in Halo jumping history, having achieved total victory twice on Spartan Sasuke. But although back in the day, SMOKEY was just an average competitor, he started off in Tournament 5 as just a person who just failed the rolling ball. And then he turned to the you-know-who. But although SMOKEY has competed so many times, back in the early days, SMOKEY was bad. He cleared stage 1 on his second appearance in Tournament 6. He only beat stage 1 once on Reach. He started off as a very poor competitor. He struggled again, and then since he was running his own course, Halo Ninja Warrior, he was practicing his obstacles so he can get better. And that's exactly what he did. In Tournament 11, he'd clear stage 1 for the first time since Tournament 6, because he'd missed Tournament 7, and then fell stage 1 3 times in a row. But then he got better and better and better, like Dom did. But Dom, he didn't really fail stage 1 on Halo 4 as much, because he had only failed stage 1. SMOKEY had only failed stage 1 once. But then SMOKEY would pull off one of the best records ever. He beat stage 2 with a very fast time in Tournament 11, Tournament 12, and then Tournament 13 he got in first place, Tournament 14, he reached the final stage for his first time. And then in Tournament 16, he pulled off one of the best moments in Ninja Warrior of Halo history. Despite all his fellow All-Stars failing, SMOKEY was able to make it to the final stage for a second time, and he scaled the final stage to make it to the top in time to achieve total victory, becoming only the second competitor in Ninja Warrior of Halo history to achieve total victory. And since then, SMOKEY has not let his performances fall, as he has continued to push on and put on strong performances worthy of a grand champion. SMOKEY became a competitor who initially struggled at the beginning of his career to become the best competitor in Halo jumping history. He was without the number one competitor, with 8 stage 1 clears in a row, 7 stage 2 clears in a row, which is tied with Ice Biteful. 8 stage 1 clears in a row from tournaments 11 through to 18. And of course, the total victory that he so desperately deserved because he needed it. Truly, it was a good moment. And now, of course, what were you thinking? It is the man, the myth, the legend. It is Re95. Re95 is the Tournament 4 Grand Champion. While SMOKEY's career is ordinary, I just like Re's backstory more, as Re had been competing multiple times on Spartan Warrior, and he'd never gotten total victory. He was this close, but, you know, Re wanted total victory so much, and it showed in Tournament 4. After years of hard work, he'd finally pull it off to become the first competitor in Ninja Warrior of Halo history to achieve total victory on a jumping course. He was the first competitor ever to achieve total victory on a jumping course. Back then, he was like the undisputed number 1 on Ninja Warrior of Halo. And he was the undisputed king. He's cleared stage 1 10 times, which is almost tied with Re almost is up to the stage 1 record of Drago, Elite, and SMOKEY. But he's also got 10 stage 2 clears, which is a 100% success rate, also a record. And of course, 2 final stages, only one of 2 competitors to do so. And of course, the total victory. Re95, he continued to push on, but however he did retire in Tournament 16 like all the other 2 All-Stars. Re's career has been so ordinary on the Xbox 360. And although I've only seen him compete once, and that was on Halo 5, and even then he even got to stage 2 on Halo Ninja Warrior Tournament 19, which proves that even if you are away for several years, you can still perform good. And that's exactly what Re does. If you put in an effort, you can do well. Now, everyone, I'd like to thank you so much for this cool presentation. Hope you learned something from it, because, you know what, I'm gonna continue talking this stuff about this in the future. Hopefully you stay tuned for the top 15 Xbox One competitors. So, bye.